I'd like to call to order the Charter Township of Oxford Board of Trustees regular meeting. Today is Wednesday, December 11th, 2019. The time is 6:30. Please pay respects to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please note the
Noted.
roll. Approval of the agenda. I'm going to ask that the approval letter of the Oakland County be tabled until next month.
Which one is that?
That is 9A.
9A? Okay.
And of course, my pen is.
Did you want
Also-
to switch 10C?
The Maloney Street Bridge is coming off, and what we're going to put, this came at the last minute, was one of our board of review members had to resign, and we'd like to put somebody in her place. I will explain when we get to that, so it's
That'll be 10C.
10C.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended with the deletion of item 9A and the change from item 10C, Maloney Street Bridge, to Board of Review, resignation and replacement.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Curtis, do you see anything else we might have to?
That was all that was scheduled to be removed from the agenda for tonight's meeting,
Okay,
and I'm more.
let's move on to,
You vote.
all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to the consent agenda. Questions on the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion with the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. We'll use Curtis as a second. Any other questions or deletions or roll call?
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Trustee Dar.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
And Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Public comment on items not on the agenda. Ron, I know you got one. Well, we'll get you in a. Come on up, sir.
Good evening. My name is Richard Rassel, 380 North Old Woodward, Birmingham. My office and myself represent House of Providence with respect to what was listed on the agenda under unfinished business as an approval of letter to Oakland County Economic Development and Community Affairs, which I understand by motion of the board just a moment ago has been removed from the agenda.
Correct.
I did get a call from Mr. Rentrop today saying that it was possible that this matter would be removed. I just want to try to provide some context to the request, if I could. And I appreciate the board listening just for a quick moment.
Okay.
House of Providence, of course, is a nonprofit entity that is providing a critical service in Oakland County and in Oxford Township to children of need. The property has been split into 4 parcels. It's part of the larger parent tract. I think the board is generally aware of this. There have been some environmental concerns raised as it relates to a portion of the property that's been affected. House of Providence has been diligent for a significant period of time, engaging both experts and consultants and working with the state of Michigan and the Oakland County Economic Redevelopment and Business Development offices associated with community affairs. And with respect specifically to Mr. Bradley Hanson and Dan Gow, both with the Oakland County office and with Eagle, the state of Michigan department. The critical effort that we've undertaken was to seek Oxford Township's request initially to be the plan administrator as it related to the what is known as the Renew Michigan grant process that would allow, at no cost to Oxford Township or House of Providence, but funded through the state of Michigan, a significant effort to obtain some new soils to be placed several inches deep into the soil that would allow for residential occupancy on a portion of the affected area. As you know, a portion is already occupied on a site that has been approved, and certificates of occupancy have been issued by the township. That effort was through my offices and through others that have been working on this, ultimately altered. And it was altered in such a way as that Oxford Township was no longer being asked to be the plan administrator, not being asked to sign off or be part of any contract or agreement with either Oakland County or the state of Michigan's Eagle division of LARA that would have anything to do with the remediation of this property, not only as it relates to cost, but as it relates to potential liability. In that effort, we were diligent in convincing Oakland County to be such plan administrator. And through great efforts and the assistance of environmental counsel and just stick-to-itness, House of Providence has asked and convinced Oakland County to be the plan administrator. Oakland County asked for a letter from Oakland Township, Oxford Township, excuse me, I'm sorry, I just had a matter this week in Oakland, I'm sorry. And from Oxford Township agreeing that they had no objection. I passed that letter past Mr. Rentrop. Mr. Rentrop made suggested revisions. We went to Oakland County, Mr. Hanson and Mr. Gao, and diligently persuaded them that the form of the letter revised by Mr. Rentrop dated approximately November 22nd would be appropriate, just before Thanksgiving. Would be appropriate. The letter does not say its support. It does not state that it is in favor of. It merely acknowledges that the request has been made by House of Providence to remediate an affected portion of the property for which the state of Michigan will fund, Oakland County will administer, and Oxford Township will have no part of whatsoever. The form of the letter revised by Mr. Rentrop and accepted by Oakland County merely states that Oxford Township has no objection to Oakland County acting as the grant administrator for this effort. This matter was placed on the agenda for this evening. I am not privy to any information that would provide a basis for this matter being delayed. I'm very concerned that Oakland County and or the state of Michigan in any respect may have a change of heart with respect to this program based on what I understand to be a delay in this board's approval of a form letter drafted by the Township's council that would provide a statement of basically no position as it relates to House of Providence's efforts to provide services for children in the state of Michigan. I've heard no basis today from Mr. Rentrop or from this board that would provide any reason whatsoever as to why this is being delayed past the month of December and into the month of January, or any reasonable assurance that this is a pro forma process, ministerial in nature, that should be provided. So respectfully, and I understand that you've already acted to move, House of Providence would formally object and to the moving of this matter to the January agenda, and formally request that the board, through whatever process you and Mr. Rentrop feel comfortable, allow Mr. Dunn to sign this letter and send it to Oakland County forthwith as early as tomorrow, whether it's by formal board meeting, by special meeting, or it's by some process that stops any potential delay or prejudice to House of Providence in connection with this very simple, unaffected position as it relates to Oxford Township. So I can answer any questions, but I
We
thank
don't
you
have
for listening
questions
to me.
during
Thank you.
public comment.
I'm sorry?
We take public comment literally. It's for public comment, not adding an agenda item to the board.
Understood. So thank you for respectfully listening to me, and I just think our position is noted for the record, and I thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ron? I'm gonna do Ron. He probably wants to go watch a Michigan game.
I just want to give the board a quick bond update. As you know, we're coming to the close of our bond. We completed the pavilion at Powell Lake Park this last fall, so we're pretty excited about that. Next spring, we'll add our playground, and that'll complete the bond projects. Currently, we've got our skating rink going in out at Seymour, so if you haven't been out there, I'd ask that you go out. We've got the pavilion up and the warming center. It's attached to the back bathrooms that were currently out there, so I don't know if the concession/warming center will be open this year, but we will definitely have skating going. We've got water out there this year, heat for the bathrooms. I want to plug Sarah Dan, who gave us the light poles. You know, our department works diligently on trying to find things to save tax dollars. So the light poles we have were donated, as well as the sled hill, which is now known as the Zoom Zoom Sled Hill after my son Seth. So if you get a chance this year, come out and see the new sled hill. The skating rink should be a lot of fun for our community. Another unique program, unfortunately, Bev Johnson passed away, I believe, last week. And I know the staff is putting a tree at our park. We've created a program out there called Memorial Maples. If you haven't been out there, I encourage you to go out there. It's really tranquil and peaceful. We've got over probably 40 trees now that have been sponsored by residents of our community for loved ones who have passed, and the program just takes off. So if you'd like to, I know Patty's got one there. I've got some there for my family. So keep that in mind. If you want to honor somebody who has passed away, there's no better place to do it in our park. It's a really unique opportunity, and it really gives back to what people are about. Lastly, I want to thank CJ. In the 2 weeks he's been on board, he's been working with us on some grants. We did one for the seniors. Him and I did some research on Phragmites. We've tabled that one until next year, but he's already been an asset to us, so I appreciate his help with us. And lastly, I had a local resident entrusting us with a $500 donation to recognize seniors who are shut-ins for the holidays. So if you know a senior who can't get out, we've been honored and trusted with the $500 to purchase fruit baskets, and we will deliver those. So if you have a name of someone that you think could use one, please contact me at the Parks and Rec tomorrow, and we'll get them on our list, and we'll make sure that they get a little token for the holidays. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ron. We have questions? I see a hand over there, and then we'll, Callie?
Hi there. I just wanted to kind of keep you in the loop, so to speak, about what's been happening with House Bill 4095. We've been here to talk about it before. The committee meeting was yesterday in the Senate, and there was quite a large turnout. Actually, many came the week before, and it was canceled after everybody got there. But the people that spoke in opposition to the bill included Senator Johnson, Senator Bayer, Oakland County Health Network, Community Living Services, Scott Kempa and Representative Mike Mueller, Oakland County CHN, Robert DePalma from Groveland Township, I believe he's the supervisor from Rose Township, Michigan Municipal League, Michigan Townships Association, more people from Holly Township, and then there was written testimony submitted by quite a few as well. And I have that, if anybody would like that for the record, but there's quite a few agencies. Who did not speak in favor of it was Michigan Health and Human Services. So they did not speak in favor of it. House Bill 4095, as you know, would increase the capacity of residential occupants in that residential facility from 6 to 10, which totally overrides our ordinance, and that passed the committee yesterday. So it changes the dynamics of everything extensively. So where we once had a preemption that says your zoning ordinance won't hold if they have 6 or less, now it's going to be, if you're on a 20-acre piece written specifically for Oxford, you can have 10 residents in that home plus the staff. And I believe the grant said 60 employees and the traffic and all that, and then multiple facilities. So when you're looking at that grant you need to understand what's going on as we speak. And I'm going to, before I go, I'll give you a copy of the minutes from yesterday's committee meeting and a copy of the legislation analysis. So you can see this is happening in real time. And it seems that we're told one story, it's about 6, but behind the scenes, it's 10. And so it's already passed committee, it's passed through the House. And so the last thing is the floor of the Senate. At that point, our ordinance gets overrode again, and people on 20 acres across this state have been stripped of their zoning rights. Okay? I don't think it's fair to tie the density of a residential institution to the size of a property. I mean, we moved out that way to have it to be low density and to not have that kind of traffic and institutional use, no matter what the institutional use is, not picking on one particular type of use. So, you know, that's where we stand. The grant requires that the local residents surrounding that property have a tie-in and have a say. When will that happen in Oakland County? Why are we taking it out of our county? It should stay here in the township so we can discuss it and have a fair conversation. You may decide, after hearing all the objections and stuff, that it suits what you need for this community. I myself have read the master plan. It's contrary to the master plan. It's a conflicting use. It increases the traffic on a road that really can't support it. And there's all these reasons why. It has nothing to do with the occupants in the home. It's the type of use and the increase in use, you know, that we object to. So when you're looking at the grant, the requirement is that the people close to the area where the grant will impact get a say. And I think we need to leave it in this community so we have that say. The other thing is that it complies with the local zoning. That's a grant requirement, okay? You can't say it complies with the local zoning, but the zoning gets trumped by that. That's not the purpose of a grant. The grant isn't to promote something that's preempted. The answer is, it's against our zoning to have 10. That's an institutional use. It's against our zoning to have an institutional use, period, no matter how many occupants are there. So it's against the zoning. So the answer is, it's against our zoning. Now, you can answer in the next breath, state law trumps our zoning, but for back to the the grant, the answer is no, it doesn't comply with our zoning. Our zoning is trumped by an exemption. So we're just asking you to really keep that all in mind and the scope of it. It's not one facility. Right there in their testimony, there's multiple facilities on that property. So we're asking that you just really keep that in mind. The letter itself that was written, obviously I'm sure you caught some typos and, you know, some problems with the structure of the letter, but some things caught my eye and I had a question on it. And part of it is it does recognize that our ordinance doesn't allow it, but the state law trumps it. But there's a mention of 6. I think we actually need to open that discussion for 10 because of the law that's sitting right underneath us ready to be passed. But it also calls them underserved and at-risk youth. Who picked those words? That's really, where did that come from? I think we need, as a township, to be honest with our descriptions and say what it is. What youth did they serve? The youth that have been rendered by court order to be placed in a child caring institution. And, you know, I believe that they do that job well. They're you know, not a problem with that, but just be honest with what it is. Underserved and at-risk youth, I don't think really describes what's there. And then it says the township has no objection to the county acting as grant administrator. I would really hope that when this discussion comes along, that you take this into consideration, that it really should stay within the township. You shouldn't be passing this off to someone else. This isn't just this project. This is a 7-page front to back listing of all the contaminated sites in Oxford. You know, we really should be driving the bus here and looking at some of these and deciding what the best use of funds are. Right now, the property that's being considered, I've been told, and I have it from the Eagle, that it's on Lot 1. Lot 1 has a house on it that's occupied. So if there's a house on it that's occupied and Eagle says it doesn't need to be cleaned up, why are we picking in our pockets and spending $1 million of public funds when we have many more important projects? I was at a township meeting last night and they found PFAS in their sewer system. Okay, that's gonna be happening all over the state. There's only so much cleanup funds to go around, and we have to be good stewards of that money and not just spend it because we think it feels good or it might be a good cause. We need to spend it on what's the best use of those resources. And so sometimes the tough decisions have to be made on what the responsible use is. So I'm gonna leave this list
Give
with
it
the
to,
township and a copy of the minutes.
Clerk Wright.
Pardon?
Give it to Clerk Wright.
Yes,
He'll
I will.
distribute it.
Yep, and I'll give him, This is the minutes of the committee meeting, and this is the write-up, copies of that too, of the legislation itself.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
The gentleman in the center aisle. Did you have your hand up, sir? Come on.
Greetings. My name is Frank Soroka. I'm a federal employee working with the government on the 2020 census. I received an open invitation from Curtis Wright to speak to the board today and about the importance of the 2020 census and how it affects your community. As you all know, the numbers submitted by your community have a great impact in terms of building funds, fire department, libraries, all your schools, et cetera, et cetera. The census is April 1st, 2020, and we're looking for your support in making sure that people in your community are aware of the 2020 census and respond to that. And such that we're looking for help based on letting people know in your community that the census has temporary jobs available for those who want to work for the census. There are both field jobs and office jobs. Those jobs range from anywhere from $15 an hour and could go all the way up to $24.50 an hour in this area. So what I'm asking for is your support to make sure that your community is aware of the census, the importance of it, and let them know if there is anybody out there who wants to work for a temporary position, that the census is available. We have some flyers that have been put out through your organization, and let them know that the temporary jobs are great pay, they're flexible hours, they can kind of set their hours what they want, and they're paid weekly, and they're putting value into your community. So I thank you for the opportunity, and I appreciate it very much.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Moving on.
I'm sorry. For a minute, sorry.
Did you fall asleep?
A long day. Good evening, Brian Cloutier, Director of Oxford Public Library. I just wanted to address the board this evening on a couple of things to bring you up to date on some things that are happening at the library. First of all, I wanted to share with you that the library is hosting a traveling historic barn preservation network exhibit, and that will take place from January 10th through February 21st of next year. And so that is, if you're familiar with last year when we hosted the WPA exhibit, this year's exhibit will be the Historic Barn Preservation Network. So we're working with local entities on that, as well as the Metamora Hunt Club. I've been in touch with Mr. Mayday from Metamora Hunt, and we're working with them to get a talk on the history of that as well. In addition to that, I'd also like to share with you that the phase 1 of the Oxford Leader newspaper digitization project is completed ahead of schedule, and it is available via the library's website at www.miopl.org. That includes the Oxford Intruder from 15 April of 1898 through 2 December of 1898, the Oxford Leader and Globe from the 25th of April of 1902 through 1st of March of 1907, and the Oxford Leader from 9th of December of 1898 through the 31st of December of 2014. So we're going to be working with the Oxford Leader to move from 2014 forward, keeping in mind that we want to be conscientious of the fact that they are a for-profit agency, but they've been extremely helpful with us in this process. I also would like to share that the total project cost was right around $75,000, and I'm very pleased to announce that the Northeast Oakland Historical Society has generously pledged $30,000 towards that project. I also want to share with you that the Oxford Public Library Board has voted to transfer the library's endowment funds to the Four County Community Foundation in Elmont. This will allow the library to better maximize its return on investment and open up additional avenues for potential donors and giving campaigns. The transfer will take place in early 2020, with the final transfers taking place on or about September of 2020. As you know, we have been undertaking a very large-scale feasibility study to see if it is rational to expand the Oxford Public Library. That process has probably been ongoing now for about 8 or 9 months. We've engaged the services of Daniels and Zermatt Architects out of Ann Arbor and are working with their principal architect, Seth Penchensky. Seth worked with David Milling when we originally built the building back in 96, 97. So he has a vast familiarity with this community as well as the Oxford Public Library. We've wrapped up the feasibility side of things. We have the renderings available for the board to view next week, and we anticipate that once the board adopts those renderings, we will be then working toward engaging the services of our legal counsel in drafting the ballot language for that, as well as working with Mr. Ferrari and your bond counsel in developing all the budgets and the timelines and all that fun stuff. We anticipate that if everything goes well, we will have our ballot language into the county in time to be placed on the August primary. So once we have everything adopted by the board, we have the 3D renderings available for the public library, I will reach out to Clerk Wright and see if we can maybe get a spot on your agenda to give a formal presentation in the whole process. So if you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to contact my office and I'll be more than happy to answer those. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Brian. Anyone else? Fire Department.
Evening, board members. Just a quick update. I wanted to thank the entire Oxford community for the great support for our Shop with a Hero program that we held up at Myers here. We were able to help 9 children go through the whole process of shopping and everything with their families and buying gifts. It's always quite heartwarming to see the children appreciating what we're able to do for them and the families. It's rather surprising when you see a 5 or 6 year old child that gets, you know, a couple $100s to spend in the toy store, and you get some of them that walk into the toy department and just stand there and just look with awe, and then some of them would walk up and buy one little toy for themselves and turn around and take the rest of the money to turn around and pay for gifts for the rest of their family. So I mean, it's a good feeling. Our department members all enjoy doing it. The boot drive that we had was very successful. Our members all enjoyed getting out there and spending the time with the community and interacting with them, and it was very successful, and thank you. Another note, I applied to the state DNR for their federal excess equipment and was awarded a portable generator that we will be able to use for our fire training academy and for the fire department. It was a 2008 generator, but it was brand new. It's never been run. 0 hours on it, so we were able to pick it up. So it was a matter of driving up there to Hazlitt, picking it up and bringing it back. So it worked out pretty good for us. So thank you.
I'm surprised it got by Ron. We have some budget amendments.
I got Jim Sharp. Sharp.
Oh. Thank you. Wait, fire department, that's part of the fire department.
Nope, need is Sharp engineering report.
But fire,
Yep, that's done, you're here.
fire department budget amendments are down? Okay. Sorry. Jim, sorry about you. Come on up.
All right, I can say with with reasonable confidence that everybody's really enjoying the M24 work that's happening right now. So just to give you an update, that's really all I have right now. The work is actually on schedule. It's going to be like that for about another month or so on the west side of M24 there. And then the portion between Drainer Road and Stanton Road will be complete. Unfortunately, then, they're going to jump to the north side, so they're going to go from north of Burdick up to Harriet, and that's going to begin probably around that middle of January time, and that's going to run pretty much till April 1st, till the project starts. So people are going to be dealing with that for quite a long time. The closure that's at East Street right now on the northbound side, that is also going to be finishing up probably this week. However, they just got the go-ahead, they got the right-of-way from the Oxford Bank, and they're going to be putting up a concrete barrier closure down at Stanton, or Denison, I guess it is, right, Bill? Right across, whichever side of the road you want to call it there. So really no relief. Everybody just continue getting used to it. It's going to be that way for quite a while, and then it's just going to get worse. We did have all the consultants and MDOT, we revised, made some revisions based on their internal reviews. Those plans were resubmitted, and the final drawings are going to MDOT tomorrow. They continue doing all their budgetary stuff and things. We will be on a February 7th bid letting. That's when the project is supposed to be go out to the contractors, and they will get those bids back in and award a contract probably in March. April start date, still in line with everybody. A couple things that will be quite helpful. They are going to have another public information meeting once they get the contractor on board in March, and they are also working on a website that will be available to anybody in the public, so that we don't have to try to get the word out as much as we can. So once that website is up and running, then I will give you that link, and I'll work with probably to CJ would be best, I would think, and he can put that somehow on the township's website. So that's what I got. Any other questions?
No, I have a comment. I want you to remember on Denison going on to M24, the southbound.
We will try to take care of that water hole.
Bigger radius where people can get in and out without going over the curb.
Sure.
Hitting the sign, doing whatever.
It's out of my hands. I made the comment, though. We'll try and.
Just make sure it's on the plans.
Okay, we'll do that. Otherwise, I'll go after Dave Harrison for you. So.
Okay. Any other questions?
Any other questions on that, or any other related things in the community? All right. Thank you,
Jim. For those that might have come in late, talking about two people over here, that unfinished business 9A was taken off the agenda. So we're moving on to 10A. Board policy on the sale of public-owned township property. Who would like to start?
Board members, I just gave this a memo to you guys. As you know, we have some properties that are available. I don't know how we want to do that. I know I've talked to Jack a little bit about it. We may want to have some type of a policy as how we're going to handle them. I mean, because we've got people kind of inquiring, not so much about the one next, but about another piece of property we have available. I was trying to get the dialogue going to figure out how we'd like to handle it.
I can give you the dialogue.
Yeah, give us a dialogue. I'll save mine.
That I don't think we need a policy. I think we take it one parcel at a time. I don't want to be, stuck in an area where I can't do anything because of some silly policy. I don't think we need it. As far as this policy, the property you're talking about, the 103 acres, if somebody wants to come up and make an offer, I think what we should do is go out to a local newspaper, say that, the township is interested in selling 103 acres with this one. And we'll give somebody a couple weeks to either, just say we have a bid on it, and we give other people a chance to bid on it, where it doesn't look like we're selling it to someone's brother or.
That's a good policy.
But I don't think we need any other policy. I think every piece of property has its own problem. Jack?
I think we have to have some sort of a policy, because Here's what happened. You have a piece of property that somebody came in here is making you an offer on tonight. No one knows that that property has an offer on it. It's a lowball offer. It's ripe with inappropriate advertising. I don't believe it's been marketed at the fair market value. Our assessor has it valued higher than this offer that's in. No one else knows that it's for sale, but yet we have an offer on a piece of property coming in front of this board. It reeks with inappropriateness that we can't market this stuff to all township residents and/or developers that come into this township. Somebody comes up here and says, we want to buy this, we want to give you $50,000 for a piece of property. Sounds good, we put it in the Oxford Leader, nobody else reads it, we sell it, we miss out an opportunity. The piece I'm talking about, even the contract itself is full of errors. One error claims it's a 1 acre piece, when in fact it's only a half-acre piece. So we need a policy so that we can prevent inappropriate activities from going on about selling township land below market value and losing all the potential for profit for our citizens. A policy that can be written that says we ask 3 realtors to market it and see which one comes up with the best plan, the best price, the lowest commission, the fastest listing for the best money for the township. That gives everybody a fair opportunity to purchase it and a fair opportunity for those of us to see what the real estate value of that property is.
Go ahead, Margie.
I agree that we do. I think that a policy would be a good choice. We need a standard by which we sell our properties. I see this list that Joe has put together, and I see all kinds of problems with it. I would never, ever choose to sell a piece of property based on SEV. That's just not something that I think is appropriate. I think we need to have I think the township should have a realtor. Whether we do, like Jack said, and go out for bid with 3 different realtors, or we just choose a realtor, whatever, I think we need someone looking out for our interest. I see all kinds of problems with what's in here. So I'd like to,
Could I say something before you make
Sure.
them? Something I didn't like in this proposal tonight was a sentence in there that the township, if we sold the property, would have to pay the broker 6%. I didn't, what?
That's the next step.
Yeah, but I'm just stating that's something I would never go for unless we hired someone to market and sell it. But just for to have some broker come up and, no, don't agree.
Elgin's first.
Oh, Elgin, sorry, I'm right-handed.
That's okay, you're right.
Sorry about that.
I believe that there should be continuity to the procedure, rather than run willy-nilly, with this price, that price, whatever. I believe that also we should have additional bids. You shouldn't just rely on one bid. I've dealt with real estate over the years, my own business and personal. And I think that is a legitimate approach that Jack has suggested to us. And I know nobody likes to pay real estate fees. That's a big flag. People don't like it. But you know what? It might be well worth its weight by having real estate give you the factual information on the property.
I know
You'll make more money on
I
it.
know Way said we should not, but we don't have an agreement. We don't have somebody listing it with us, or we don't have a broker.
Right
So
now,
why should I pay anything if I don't have a contract with someone?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
absolutely. You have nothing right now. No policy, nothing. So I'm saying don't draw from the hip and make an
Nope.
error in this thing and losing money for the township.
Curtis?
Yeah, I just want to,
Then I'll come back down to you, Jack.
just to give some perspective on our properties, I put this map together real quick to give you an idea of the properties the township potentially could sell. And I'll start up here. This is our cemeteries up here in this upper left corner. So we're not selling that property. This is another cemetery over here in the right-hand corner. We're not selling that property. This is the Elkview property, which we are marketing.
Not yet.
We haven't marketed it yet.
Well, okay, we're not. Now, if we go down to the southern part of the township, one property I didn't highlight is the Township Park, which we're not selling that either. And then we go over to the township properties, the 6 acres we have north of here, that's a marketable property. We're not doing the township hall, we're not doing the water treatment plant, we're not doing the cemetery over here on Burdick Street, we're not doing the fire department, we are marketing the little, what's it, half an acre piece?
Actually, it's a part of a 3+ acre piece, and we don't need the fire department to have more land, more frontage on M24. They have enough frontage on M24. It's the idea to cut off a portion of that property and sell it, so it can come back on the tax rolls.
And we have the water tower up here by Wildcat Tower on North Oxford Road by the high school, the safety path piece here down at the southern part of the township, and the fire department number 2 on Drainer Road. So basically, it looks like about 4 pieces that would come under this policy if it would go forward. But if you have a policy, you have a way of directing the sale and purchase.
Any board, yes, Joe? Then I'll go to Jack,
I'd like to
sorry.
make a motion to have Treasurer Ferrari and Trustee Curtis work with Attorney Gary Rentrout to develop a policy for the sale of public-owned Oxford Township property. Present this proposed policy to the Township Board for its consideration.
Support?
Moved and supported. Yes.
In my mind, the supervisor should be somebody on that committee or whatever, not the treasurer.
I'm in charge, legislatively, I'm in charge of sale of township property, so,
It's up to you.
not that I want more work, but
I made your motion.
how about the 3 of us?
I'll amend my motion to include Supervisor Dunn as well.
I'll amend my support.
Been moved and supported. Questions? Let's do a roll call.
All right, Clerk Wright, yes. Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Dur.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
And Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Moving on to offer to purchase Washington Street parcel. There be any discussion or a motion?
Oh, yeah, there's all kinds of discussion. I understand that we don't need the fire department to have M24 frontage, but, as I understand it, that little half acre is non-conforming, so it's almost unbuildable as it sits by itself.
Only it is buildable as long as the 2 adjacent parcels to the north and south purchase that property.
Right.
Or we
If
have
anybody else
60 feet in the
purchases,
back.
if anybody else purchases, we have to make it 1 acre, which we have the ability to do.
Gotcha.
I move to deny the purchase offer of $55,000 from Stepping Stone Properties LLC for the purchase of parcel A being part of parcel P 0422404021.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Appointment, Board of Review. Sorry about the lateness, but we had a Board of Review member send me a note. Sadly to report, Mrs. Karen Fitch has contacted the office and due to health issues is not going to be able to serve on the Board of Review. Therefore, I'm recommending the following resident be appointed to the Board of Review for a 1 term, with a term expiring December 31st, 2000, and accept Mrs. Fitch's verbal response with regrets, and we are thinking about her. So what we're doing here is we're going to, if you choose, to appoint her for 1 year. Normally, the Board of Review is, it's a 2-year term, but we don't want to send it past.
She
In
is
other
filling
words,
out Mrs. Fitch's
It's going to
position.
fill out the remainder of the year.
I'll make a motion to accept Karen Fitch's verbal resignation with regrets. Appoint Margie McGinnis to the Oxford Township Board of Review to fill the vacancy for a term commencing immediately, expiring December 31st, 2021.
Support?
Moved and supported? Yes.
That should be through 2020,
Yeah.
20.
That makes it 2 years.
2000, yes, I should get 2002.
2020, because
Good catch.
the term is
And my support.
2020.
Okay, let's do a roll call on this one.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Dur.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes, and Supervisor Dunn.
Yes. Appointments to the Planning Commission. In front of you, in front of me, I'm trying to get Mr. Hunwig and Mr. Spiz to be put back on the Planning Commission.
Guys, remember, our role in this is to either accept or reject Supervisor Dunn's recommendation. We can't offer alternative candidates. This is who he recommends. We either accept it or we reject it.
I recommend for reappointment to the Planning Commission for a 3-year term commencing January 1st, 2020 and expiring December 31st, 2022, Mr. Michael Spiz and Mr. Ed Hunwick.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any other questions? Roll call?
Trustee Payne,
Yes.
trustee Dar,
Yes.
treasurer Ferrari,
Yes.
supervisor Dunn,
Yes.
trustee Curtis,
Yes.
trustee Nichols,
Yes.
and clerk Wright, yes.
On to the 2020 wage resolution amendment.
I move to approve the Charter Township of Oxford amended 2020 wage resolution as amended, moving the finance manager fire department position.
Been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Dar,
Yes.
clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari,
Yes.
trustee Payne,
Yes.
trustee Curtis,
Yes.
trustee Nichols,
Yes.
supervisor Dunn,
Yes.
I move to approve the Charter Township of Oxford 2020 General Appropriations Act as amended, moving the finance manager fire department position.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any other questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Potential funding for Oxford Ray Road Safety Path? Who would like to talk on this one?
Good. Yeah. Did all the stuff.
Come on up here, CJ. You're the one.
Prepared it.
Okay, good evening. I'm basically in looking at different grant opportunities. I started thinking about the safety paths and the one incomplete one on Ray Road or the non-existent one, I should say, on Ray Road, and the incomplete one on Oxford Road popped into my head. Because we have, right now, we have the safety path dead ends on Oxford Road, right by the high school, and there's nothing along Ray Road. And we have students who do walk. Not every high school student drives or wants to drive or has a car. So we have students who go to Meyer, but they have nowhere to walk as far as safely. They either do it in the road or along the side of the road on uneven ground, or some have been known to cut through the Abbey Ridge Apartments development, which can create potential problems and conflicts with residents. So I started looking for grant opportunities, and I found some in the Ralph Wilson funds and Consumers Energy. And I think it would be very attractive, this project, because if we did this safety path, this would connect the village, the Pollyant Trail, the high school, Meyer, M24, and in grants for safety paths are looking for things that connect a lot of things and are of value to the community. This has been part of the Safety Path Master Plan priority list for the township since 2010, so the township has been wanting to do this. It started out at priority number 9, and it moved up a few years later to number 6, and that where it remains. Given the fact that this involves the school and students using it, I think perhaps it should be a higher priority. I've also talked to Tim Throne with the Oxford School District Superintendent, and he's agreed to recommend to his board contributing $10,000 to this project. And I have submitted a request for Meyer for $10,000 from them. The two grants I'm looking at from Ralph Wilson would be a $50,000 grant, and from Consumers Energy, I'm looking to ask for $100,000. The good thing with the Consumers Energy grant is it's not a flat yes or no. They could decide, well, we don't want to give you $100,000, but we'll give you $50,000. So frankly, I'll take what I can get. And basically, the whole project, though, according to an estimate from Jim Sharp, will be $660,000. In an ideal world, if you got the two grants and the two donations, that's $170,000, which is still a good chunk of money, but which I know you guys were looking at potentially spending $500,000 to put a safety path in from Dunlap Road to Sanders Road in the effort to get to Seymour Lake Park. But frankly, that path would dead end. There's really not a grant opportunity just for that. So that's why I was looking at this project. Also, I was going to ask if Supervisor Dunn, I feel American Aggregates should contribute because they are on the north side of Ray Road, and it's a lot of their large trucks that go up and down those road in addition to the Meyer traffic. So it would be nice if American Aggregates could either make a monetary donation or perhaps donate all the crushed stone that goes under the safety paths. With Supervisor Dunn and I did some quick calculations this afternoon. It'd be nice if they could do that because that would defray about $100,000 of the project. But no one has approached American Aggregates. I was hoping Supervisor Dunn could do that due to his excellent relationship with that company over the years. So, and also, I'm not asking the board to commit to this project that we would just do it. I'm not asking you to spend all this money and we don't get the grants and now you're on the hook or for 660. I'm saying maybe we could dedicate the funding, or dedicate funding to this project contingent on getting the grants and contingent on getting the donations. I never want to back the board or the township into a corner where we have to spend money if the grants don't come through.
I hate to bust your bubble,
No, I know.
but we have something on the agenda where we're going to have to put out $175,000 to replace a bridge
Unexpected.
over troubled waters.
Yep.
On Drainer.
Yes.
Curtis, what is our fund balance?
Fund balance?
1.5 million?
Let me pull up the future agenda item here with the general fund budget amendment. And if you look on the last page, it'll show a breakdown of the
The
funds.
fund balance,
The
yeah.
fund balance itself. So, blow this up bigger.
Thank you for zooming in.
Thank you. It's 1.5 million, rather, really.
Yeah, right here, it's, you know, it's
1.499 million,
Unallocated.
correct.
that's at the end of 2021, or in 2020. But on the right-hand side, right now, we started the year with 1.3 million in fund balance. We allocated $500,000 to MERS. We're expecting a $347,000 contingency fund balance, and if the $175,000 is approved out of that, you can reduce that number down to $172,000 going into fund balance. So our balance, if that's approved, would be approximately less than $1 million. So if you take this project and it's approved by the board, you're
We're
gonna not,
below $500,000 for
you're
your fund
in that
balance,
range of $500,000.
which is
to fund
pretty
balance.
ugly.
It's pretty low based on
I understand.
standards of.
But I love that you're going out looking for this money.
Well, I'm just going to bring the ideas to the board. Obviously, you guys are in charge of the purse strings. All I can do is submit, and I
Hopefully you
completely
can find,
understand
you
your
know,
position.
This type of deal with $500,000 or $1 million with us only having to kick in 10% or something. But
Well, I
when we have
could be
to kick
back
in-
to you with this again. I'm going to look for some other opportunities, because I really do believe right now this is probably your most important path of the other priorities. I mean, MDOT's going to be doing the safety paths along the east and west sides of M24, which are certainly important, but I think after those, this is the next most important one.
Yes,
I
Joe?
think we should help CJ along in this by at least approving the survey and design, because at least that'll help him get it shovel ready. When he's looking for grants, he can come to him and say, hey, guys, this is what I'm looking at doing. Here's my survey, here's my design, this is what I need. He'll be looking a lot more favorably than just saying, I need for survey and designing too.
The Obama shovel ready.
Exactly. So
I
I know what
agree.
Jim would charge for survey and design. Let's get that in our back pocket, so go seek in the next level of grants. We've got that ready to go.
I agree. That's an excellent suggestion. Thank you.
Left-handed, yes, come.
Question to CJ.
Yes.
Are the grant monies to be appropriated on the full scope of the project, or could it be segmented? In other words, the monies be used,
Well, the way I was looking at it was this grant money would be used for design and construction. But
Okay.
certainly, if we paid for the design out of our pockets, that would lessen the amounts that were needed and show that the township was contributing to the project
okay,
and that, so. But yeah, these monies that I was looking at, they could be expended for design. There was no limitation on whether they could be for design or construction. The 660 that Jim quoted me is for the entire project.
Could we phase this rather than take, 600,000? Could we do finish it from the school up to Ray Road, or, do some portion of this?
Well, the problem with that is, and that's a good idea, but then you're losing some of that connectivity. I mean, the idea is now you could start at the village, or start at the Pollyant Trail, walk up Oxford Road, all the way to Ray, hang a left, go to Meyer and 24, but now you're dead-ending the path if you did that. I think it should all be done at once. I mean, I wish it could be phased, but that's part of what I think makes
Better
it,
to the grant people.
well, yeah, exactly, it makes it more attractive. They're all about getting the biggest bang for the buck and how's this gonna impact the community. So you're again you're just extending the dead end a little farther if you did that.
Can we,
Curtis.
can we move the money over on contingent that we get the grants and/or possible contribution from American Aggregates, the Levy Corporation?
You can do whatever you and 3 other people agree to.
That's right. I'm asking out loud to get a flavor, if that
got-
would be flavorful to do it contingent on grant acceptance and possible grants from the levy corporation.
Jim, survey and design, what will that cost us? Just that.
Is that order? Is that order?
He had his hand up. Stop it.
50?
10% roughly of.
It's just going.
Well, I remember you said like construction was 500,000, then you said 110 for survey, design, administration, everything. So how much of that 110? You're right. So how much of that 110 is just survey?
About 50,000? And that allows CJ to keep moving ahead.
Okay, what's the board, okay, sir.
The deadline to apply for these grants are?
Well, the Ralph Wilson one, that's why I wanted it on the agenda tonight, because that is January 13th. The Consumers Energy, they don't have really set deadlines, but I was looking to submit that in January, because this would be a 2020 project. And the donation to Meyer, or donation that I'm soliciting from Meyer, that could be 60 days before I hear back. I hand-delivered it to the store manager, and he said, well, we spent our money for the year. I won't know what I have for next year until February. And as far as Tim Throne, I haven't touched base with him. I don't know if that was at last night's meeting or he'd mentioned in January, but he might try to move it up, so I will talk to him tomorrow.
And then if the grants are received, is there an expiration date on them?
The one grant that Ralph Wilson talks about, yeah, there's a time frame for using it this year into next year. It was like from May to, I think, May to this year to July of next year. I'd have to check that again, but it was roughly a year and a half. But I mean, obviously, it'd be tough to carry that over. You know, you want to get it done in one season, so.
And usually these items are discussed in committee before they come back to the board.
Mhm.
So,
Committee's here, though.
yeah, but usually that's the protocol we've been following as a
Well, I
board.
did send the Safety Path Committee the information prior,
I
so.
mean, you're asking an engineer to give you a cost estimate. He hasn't even been approached to even,
Well, he's been approached. Been approached.
Well, I did, that's where I got, as far as I did ask Jim for the rough estimate, and that's where I came with the 660, the email that's included in the
I
packet.
guess the question that would be to this board is, how much are you willing to spend based upon the grant limitations? You know, if it's a $600,000 project, are you willing to throw $400,000 at it if you only get $200,000?
Mhm.
What's our limitation on pursuing these grants? I mean, what
With
number
our
do you have
fund
in mind
balance,
to
it's
say
not gonna be
move
too
forward?
high.
Right.
I don't know about the number. I'm sure the treasurer could give us a number to start with, but I did read CJ's complete proposal. I think it's very well done. I agree with him in the direction he's trying to take this. And I think if we can keep him moving in it at a minimum cost to the township, I think that should be the approach we take.
I'd like to make a motion to allocate $50,000 from the 2019 fund balance for the survey and design for the Oxford Ray Road Safety Path.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? I did check this one.
Was it,
Yes.
was there a design in 2009 when railroad was paved?
That was done probably through the Oakland County Road Commission using Obama funds,
No stimulus.
Because we explored
stimulus
that.
package.
We explored the safety path, and it was about $350,000 to construct, and we pulled back on that. Because the schools, we were looking for the schools to do a bulk of the work, and we didn't want to put the money into it at that time.
Right.
The schools are generally gonna come back and go, we should spend our money on educating students, not building safety
keep them
paths.
Right. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it's,
basically, when I talked to Superintendent Throne, he asked me, well, how much do you want? And I said, well, I'm asking Meyer for 10,000, and he just said, well, I think we can do 10,000, and he'd approached the board about that. So that's how that figure came about.
And CJ, maybe we'll ask him that, hey, we've allocated 50, can you contribute your 10 to this design? Maybe Tim will say, okay, we'll do the design for 10, then we're down to 40.
So if this goes through, would I just still pursue these grants? Because you can always, I can pursue the grant, and we could always turn it down if we did get it and you decide you didn't. just basically pursue it, and if we win it, then we have a discussion about allocating the rest for construction.
Or try to figure out where we can get some money.
Oh, yeah, keep going on that, absolutely.
Just one last comment. As far as the expense goes, it appears based upon our priority list that it is a necessity to get a design on that piece, whether it's now or 10 years from now, so.
We'll find out when we vote.
Yep.
Okay. Somebody like to paraphrase or,
Basically, to make a motion to allocate $50,000 of the 2019 fund balance for the survey design for the North Oxford Ray Road Safety Path.
Support.
been moved and supported.
Jack already spoke right there.
Jack already got your Elgin, but thank you. Roll call.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Dur.
Yes.
And Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Thank you, board members.
Thank you, CJ. Go, Joe.
Drainer Road Safety Path Bridge. Probably, Jack, you want to kind of summarize that?
Drainer Road Safety Path Bridge.
Yeah.
It was called to our attention that the safety path bridge over the wetlands on Drainer Road that was built in 2009
9-ish.
for a total of $570,000 was built using materials that were authorized and directed to by the federal government. In using some of those materials, chemical changes were made to the treatment of the wood, and the nails that were used were not the nails that should have been used. And what's happened is the corrosiveness of the, I want to say, treated lumber and the common nail caused the joists and the deck boards to rot. And what's happening now is the safety path bridge is rotting apart. The joists and the decking all have to be replaced, along with some of the handrails, posts, and
It's gonna be all the handrails.
all
We're
the
not,
handrails, the decking.
we don't wanna piecemeal it. We just
Right, and the
get a new.
joists. Further, the deck boards were not, they were butted up tight against each other so that water was going to cause that, it's like a parasitic rot of the wood and the nail with the chemicals in the wood. And they weren't properly spaced for water to go through, nor was the wood treated. So all this was looked at by Tom Berger, and we have a trusted builder that works for the Parks Department that went out there and crawled around under it, and we analyzed it and figured out what happened. So based on how this bridge was built, we were forced to use certain materials. Those materials were proved and deemed to be non-sufficient to support that bridge longevity. And what we have now is we have to replace 7,000 square feet, 770 linear feet, 770 feet of safety path, decking, railing, that's 9 foot wide. We have to have the dumpsters to haul all that stuff away. And what we need to do after that is to power wash and seal the new walkway to prevent the deterioration in the future. Secondly, and most importantly, is this bridge will become unusable in the summer of 2020 unless these repairs are made. The contractor that has been looking at this and working with us and analyzing all this stuff has to do the work in January, February, March, when that wetland is frozen, so that they can get access to the decking and the rafters, the joists. And once they do that and all the proposed material cost and with the right materials, you're looking at about $175,000 in repairs to that bridge.
Jack, I've seen the pictures of it and I've stopped by there. I can't believe the damage that was done through the corrosive properties. I wouldn't allow anybody on that bridge right now.
Now,
Doesn't sound like great
I'm-
choice.
so, and Bill, you're picking up on what I'm talking about. We have invested $600,000 of federal monies that we built a bridge with, by their standards, with their materials,
And their money.
and the money, and now we have,
We kicked in some.
we have an opinion here that I believe we should jump right on this and work on it right away with our contractor that's been dutifully working with the Parks and Rec Department. Jack Faith and Sons LLC has built all the barns and buildings out at the park. Ron can give testimony, but I know for a fact they've come in hundreds of thousands of dollars less than comparable bids. But most of all, this work has to be done again February, March, April. So what we're asking for is to bypass the bid process in the township, award the repairs to Jack Faith and Sons in the amount of $175,000, using the proper materials, sealing and spacing these boards, and completing these repairs before it'll be used in the summer of 2020.
I move to award the West Trainer Road Safety Path Bridge repairs to Faith and Sons LLC, the amount of $175,000, to waive the bid requirements for this project being greater than $20,000.
Support?
Moved and supported. Any other discussion? Clerk Wright.
Just to confirm that we get a certificate of insurance with the township as an additional insured.
Come on up, Ron.
Just kind of expound on what Jack said. Jack Faith come to us, as you recall, when we built our new maintenance barn, saved over $200,000. Jack has done our OCTV building, and I'm sure Elgin can speak volumes of their work quality and how they follow through. The senior center, our office renovation, the boardwalks at Powell, the fishing observation deck at Powell, the fishing observation deck at Oakwood, the pavilion that he's currently working on right now is our skating rink. So we did go out to bid on many things, and I'm here to tell you Jack's work was always under bid, and the quality is unbelievable. So that's why we've kept him on. So I've been here 25 years. If I'm going to attach my name to something, I want to make sure it's on the up and up. And I can tell you, Jack knows what he does. He knows how to do it, and he's not out here to make a buck. He's here to get the job done right and do what he can for us, our department. I know he'd treat you the same way. So he always supplies us with the insurance that you're asking for, and I would highly recommend him to complete this task this winter and get it done.
Yes.
Just a question, Mr. Faith's in the audience. Considering it's approved, how long would the project take, and how many
You have to come up here, Jack.
how many employees would be on the job?
Come up and state your name like everyone else.
Jack Faith. I'm the contractor, owner of Faith and Sons. Probably 60 to 90 days, start to finish. Between 7 and 10 guys.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Jack? Or
I'm going to amend my motion to include that the proper insurance is also provided to the township.
I'll amend my support.
okay, everything's been moved and amended, and roll call.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Trustee Dur.
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
All set?
On to the budget amendments. Any questions? On general fund.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2019 general fund budget amendments with revenues and expenditures. Balanced at $3,146,258. Attaches prices appendix to the minutes with the inclusion of the motion from this evening to allocate $50,000 to the design of the North Oxford Railroad Safety Path.
Support?
Moved and supported. Questions? Yes.
I would imagine those monies will come out of contingency fund, 50,000.
The fire's changed.
Out of contingency, Joe?
Yep.
Out of contingency.
Contingency, yep. Yep, those will come out of contingency.
Okay,
That's still sitting there.
been moved, supported.
Yes.
Roll call.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Trustee Dur.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
And Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Now the fire department. Okay, Joanne. Oh, yeah, come on up.
Oh, you make them come up.
Come on up. You're not gonna get away that easy. Is there any questions? Do you have any explanation? Because we just got,
So that everyone received the amended proposal. that's it. Basically, the proposal is to principally account for the generous donation that the township gave for the MERS pension fund. The auditor recommended that we put this amendment in for this year. And then there's just another couple of smaller housekeeping issues.
Housekeeping?
Yes.
Any other questions here from the board? Would there be a motion?
I make a motion to approve the 2019 amended fire fund budget 213, the revenues and expenditures balancing at $4,193,305. Attach a spreadsheet as appendix of the minutes.
Second. Moved and seconded. Questions? Roll call?
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Dur.
Yes.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2019 amended safety path fund budget 297 for the revenues and expenditures balancing at $111,347. Attach a spreadsheet as appendix to the minutes.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any other questions? Roll call?
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Dur.
Yes.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
And Trustee Payne.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2019 amended building site fund budget 471 for the revenues and expenditures balancing at $56,208. Attach a spreadsheet as appendix to the minutes.
Second.
Moved and supported. Questions? None? Roll call?
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. And Trustee Dur.
Yes.
Okay, what are we on to? Hazardous waste?
I move to accept the 2020 North Oakland County Household Hazardous Waste interlocal agreement between Oakland County and the Charter Township of Oxford as presented. Authorize Supervisor William Dunn to sign the agreement.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any other questions? Let's do a roll call.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Trustee Dur.
Yes.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
I move to approve the North Oakland Household Hazardous Waste Consortium resolution as presented. Hereby appoint Treasurer Joseph G. Ferrari as the official representative and Trustee Patty Dur as the alternate for the Charter Township of Oxford to the No Hazard Advisory Board for 2020.
Support.
Moved and supported. Questions? Yes.
As part of the resolution, it does not require an alternate within the resolution. And Trustee Dur is already an alternate.
Is there a problem just leaving the motion?
No.
That's the way it is?
No.
No, we'll leave it. Was there support for that?
Somebody,
I heard it.
I think it was.
Nobody, no second on the motion.
I'll second.
Second.
Margie? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Public comment.
Oh, meeting schedule.
Oh, the meeting schedule. Where did I miss that one?
I'll make a motion to adopt the Township Board 2020 meeting schedule as presented.
Second.
It's supported second? Yes.
We do have to amend it. The October 9, I missed that. October 9 meeting is October 14th, so we'll have to approve an amended.
I'll change that to make that October 14th, 2020.
That's correct, Kelly? 14th of October?
Yes.
Which date is it?
October 9th, Jack, should be October 14th.
I've got October 14th.
I've got October 14th.
Yeah,
That's the amended
what-
copy.
It was an amended copy.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
then I'm good.
Yeah, it's different from what was in the packet.
Sorry.
That's
Blue
why it's
point?
amended.
Okay, we all set?
Yep.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. On to, I believe now, public comment. Callie had your hand up. Come on up.
On the safety path, it's hard to understand what they were saying for Oxford Road, that CJ was saying. Was that the section then, like, from,
From
The-
North Oxford Road to Myers.
yeah, the gas station, to kind of the edge of the school property there,
Yes.
to the corner?
It'll tie in, there'll be,
Well, there's kind of one that
Wait a
starts
minute.
at the corner and goes south on Oxford
I'm
Road.
doing something wrong here. I should not be commenting.
No, I appreciate it. This is clarification, so.
Yeah.
Um,
I will make exception. This one was to continue it from North Oxford Road, the small portion, up to Ray Road,
Yeah.
then going to the west, down to M24.
That's what I thought. And did I hear 600,000 for that?
We didn't approve
It's
that.
a
We
mile.
approved the design and
It's a mile.
survey.
I don't think it's a mile, but
From M24 to Oxford Road.
it's not a mile.
Ray Road to the other part.
That's not the only portion. Again, we're getting into.
Yeah, that's what I
agenda
was trying to
items.
understand, if it was just that short portion. But anyways, I was just kind of shocked at the price. I think we do need a safety path there, because I've seen people walking on that road, and it is kind of dangerous, especially with the dust, when the gravel pit has the dust. My other comment, I've asked before, and I was hoping you could consider it, especially with the construction that's going to be occurring on 24. Right now, as you're exiting Oxford Road onto southbound Lapeer Road, right there at the Myers, there's only one left turn lane. We have the gravel pit trucks there and stuff, and one truck will take that whole light. It's a long light to wait for, and when the school lets out, it backs up. And with this traffic backup on 24, it would really be a simple thing if somebody from the township approached the road commission and had them make it, and someone did it to me
It's been
today,
done.
a double left.
It's been done.
Pardon?
They've been notified of that problem.
Okay, yeah, I said, on the way here, someone did it, and,
Yeah,
you know,
short
it's
light.
set for it, wouldn't really take anything other than an arrow, and that would really help alleviate the backup at that light even now, so we'd appreciate that. Thanks.
If no one else, we'll you don't get a do-over.
Oh, come on.
Okay.
This isn't a do-over, this is in addition to. I just want to share with you also that we've been approached by the Oakland County Executive's Office, and that David Coulter is going to use our facility for a meet and greet on Tuesday, January 7th of 2020, from 10 a.m. till noon. So he scheduled our facility for that. So if you would like to take advantage of that opportunity, please do so. On another note, and this is, I know you can't answer my question, but it's food for thought, and maybe I'll talk to you on the side, Joe, but I know that the state of Michigan has made a lot of changes to the uniform chart of accounts, and that we have to make changes on our level as well. And I know that it, in some cases, can be rather cumbersome because the new chart of accounts has line items that make absolutely no sense for us. That being said, I have talked to Raina about it. I haven't talked to her. I'll retract that statement. I left a voicemail with Raina to talk to her about it. I haven't heard from her yet, so I just want to make you aware, if you're not aware, that those changes are coming next year. And I'll be working with my board and Raina to make those changes as well. But if you have any input along the way, Joe, I would definitely appreciate that.
Is that it? Board comments, starting with Jack?
Oh, boy, you're gonna be here for a while. I got a few.
No, we aren't. Because
I'm
I
glad
got this.
Frank Soroka is still here in the audience. The 2020 census is fast coming upon us. We are having a meeting with the Oakland County chapter of the MTA, January 8th, I believe it is. And we are going to share ideas on how to get the census advertised, that all the information we can do to propel people to turn the census information in. Ideas like water bill memos, tax memos, newsletters, Facebook. We're going to come up with every idea they used. Lake Orion had a lighted parade float with one of the floats was, you count to be counted right on the float. So there are things this township can do that don't cost us money or very little money to do to encourage people to utilize turning their census information in. Secondly, last night, Joe Frost asked me to come to the village council meeting, and I garnered support through a resolution 2019-22 for the medical facility PUD. Summarizing it, be it resolved that the village council of the village of Oxford supports the Charter Township of Oxford planned unit development, rezoning, and development of the medical facility and hospital at the aforementioned location. Tomorrow night, Thursday night, at 7 o'clock, we will be holding the first preliminary PUD discussion and public hearing on Beaumont, and we will be looking for public comment. The last thing I have is, Bill, you and I have to go out to Crossroads for Youth and pick up our AC.
2 AC units.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I just wanted to make a comment.
Remember my Vietnam injuries.
Well, it's okay. We'll have those guys loaded up.
Good.
That's all I had.
Patty? Patty, I'm sorry. Margie?
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Joe?
On the library having Dave Coulter coming in, CJ, if you could put that on our Facebook page, that's pretty significant. I don't ever remember a county executive coming to Oxford for a meet and greet, for a time I've been here. So to have Mr. Coulter available, for any of our residents like to speak to him and all that, I think it's pretty big news. I'd like to promote that as much as we can.
Yeah, we did that for Bear.
I'd like to congratulate CJ on the work he's doing on getting information, non-political information, out to our residents. If you've gone on Facebook, there's a lot of good stuff that has been put on there, especially the stuff like the sanitary sewer problem out at the trailer park out on Lakeville Road. It was important for those 815 homes there to know that, the township is working with the health department and the county to try to make sure that problem goes away. But it's important that, in today's society, it's easy to get word out. It just takes someone to organize it and follow through. And that's only going to be part of his job duties. He's also going to get some good grants. Up to you now. Merry Christmas.
In regard to the census, there are some forms on the back, counter back there if you're interested in learning more information about it or becoming a worker. My other comment is that going into 2020, my department's going to be very busy, so I'm going to stress very hard that the agenda items are on time and ready to go, so we don't have delays here, because I have 3 elections coming up. It's going to be very, very busy. So I really need the cooperation of the board and other people who are going to submit items that want to be on the agenda. So I'm going to hold that pretty tight, so unless there's a really extenuating circumstance, you will not see your item on the agenda if it does not meet the deadline. And also, as far as getting your timesheets in for payroll as well. So make sure that if you want to get paid on that situation, then that's your decision.
3 elections in 2020, March.
March 10,
August
4th, and November 3rd.
Thank you.
And we don't know, we doubt it, but there could be a possibility of May. And just so you know, on the March election, it will be a presidential primary in which you will have to declare whether you want a Democratic or a Republican ballot. It doesn't mean you're declaring your party, it just declares which party you want to vote for. And if there is a local ballot proposal on the election, you may get a separate ballot as well to vote on that. We don't know if it's going to be combined on both Republican and Democratic ballots, but at this time, you will have to declare your party preference for the ballot. So just be aware of that when you go to vote. If you vote AV, you can declare that when you request your ballot. So that's the way the process is turning more and more to AV. We saw that in our last election with 5 out of 6 average being absentee voters. It's a lot easier. It's less effort out of your day to go and vote, and you can vote in the privacy of your home. In a sense, it helps our precinct workers out, that it doesn't bottle up the precincts itself. Also, now that I'm on the subject.
You're on a roll.
I am on a roll. The 2 precincts will no longer be held at Oxford Elementary School to assist the schools with their schedule. We have requested that one of the precincts goes back to the library. I've talked to Brian about that, and he's in agreement to assist us from a public standpoint. And the other precinct will be back at the Oxford Community Room at the Village Council.
Has there been any thought to take it and pass the American Legion down on Drainer? They have a room that they normally rent out for events.
Well, there has been, but
they're a nonprofit.
But the concern come up about the serving of alcohol.
That's in a different part of the building.
Correct, but it is the building. So that's something that might.
It was just a thought.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's a good thought. There's somewhat adequate parking. There is legislation right now to actually let for-profit buildings hold elections. I've been in contact with Boulder Point. It's a very ideal location for a voting precinct. They've been receptive to it, but until the laws change, I am restricted to public facilities.
How about the fire hall?
The fire hall is an option. We explored that. We've looked at several areas of what could house an election in the reason that we went this direction is because of the construction on M24 next year. It just seems that it would be a very, very bottlenecked area, and I'm sure Chief Schultz is gonna experience that when he has an emergency call or several going through. So we've explored it, we've made our decision. We're gonna send out the relocation of a voting precinct to voters that are registered in those districts and move forward. There's a possibility if we can get legislation passed to move the precincts, we will definitely highly probably explore that as well. So I apologize for having to move people back and forth, but in the spirit of cooperation, that's where we're headed.
Is that it?
Yes.
Patty?
No, just Merry Christmas.
I'd like to talk about the Census Program, and I think it's a great opportunity for a number of the residents to get part-time work. I'm with the TV station, OCTV, the local station here, and we'll be glad to promote, your efforts here. I don't know what's in that form that you have back there, but I'll pick up a copy. I'll leave you a card if you want to contact me. Okay? That's it. Merry Christmas.
And it should be noted that CJ has already put it on the Facebook, all your,
Yes. Census jobs, yeah, we posted, when Mr. Soroka came in, immediately that day, I posted something on Facebook about the need for the job and that he was at the library the next day to help people with applications.
next time you do that, come up to the mic.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Support?
Moved and supported. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
754.
Safety test.